Hi YouTube, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the channel if you're new here. In this week's video I'm going to be installing this Hawk car alarm and central locking system onto my van. So first of all I'm going to do a little unboxing video to show you exactly what you'll get in the box. This is the HA-240 Lite Hawk car alarm system, and it's around £40 from the manufacturer's website. That's where I got it from, or you can get it from eBay as well. Once I showed you exactly what comes with the alarm, I'm then going to go out and install it on the van and take you through the process of doing that, and I'm going to be reviewing it along the way. This is the second car alarm system I've bought off this company. The first one I bought for my little Suzuki carry van a while back, and I was very impressed with it, and since then they've even updated the remote controllers so they're more durable now by the looks of it. So I went ahead and bought another one for this van. As for the price of £40, I think it's a very good way to go, and if your van hasn't got remote central locking, it's always a nice upgrade. You don't want to keep digging around with your keys. Well, you need your keys anyway, but you don't want to keep poking the keys in the door and scratching up your paintwork and stuff. So I went for the HA-240 Lite, which is their most basic car alarm and central locking system. You can get other more complicated ones which have got remote engine start and things like that. I wasn't too fussed about that. I literally want the car alarm and the central locking. So it comes with a couple of stickers that you can put in your window. That's a good deterrent. If people know it's got a car alarm and immobiliser, that's going to put them off trying to break in. Here we have the brains of the operation. This is a little microcontroller which has got all the inputs and outputs for your car alarm system, and it's got two controllers in here. The quality seems very good for £40, you know. Two controllers, and these look much better quality than the last ones, because the last ones had like separate individual buttons here, so if any water got in them then that wouldn't be good, whereas these seem to be sealed off from the elements, so they're more splash resistant if you like. They come with batteries already, so you don't have to worry about that. Here we've got the main wiring loom, so that just plugs into your controller here. Like so, and then this goes off to various locations which we'll talk about a little bit later when I come to install it. 12 volt DC sounder with bracket, a couple of little screws there, two ultrasonic sensors, power cable for all that little module. Here's a relay for the immobiliser, a little flashing LED, that's another good deterrent, so if people look through the window you want to have this in a place where they can see it. It comes with a very comprehensive installation manual. If we have a look through this, just take a look at the schematic. It's really simple and easy to follow. It shows you where all the inputs and outputs go from this controller here, and here's the user manual. So once you've got it installed and you want to know how to deactivate the ultrasonic sensors because you're sleeping in it for the night and you don't want the alarm going off while you're on a campsite, then you can disable that. Temporary isolation of shock ultrasonic sensors, so you press and hold the lock button for 5 seconds until you hear one chirp, followed by a further 3 chirps, and the hazard lights will flash 3 times. This indicates the system is fully armed, minus ultrasonic and shock sensors. So let's get to it and start installing it. So here we are. I'm going to be installing this Hawk car alarm system onto my 1998 Mk5 Transit. These vans were prone to being stolen back in the day, so hopefully this will add a bit more protection and a bit more security. So firstly we need to find somewhere to mount the microprocessor. It wants to be installed in a dry place, out of the way, somewhere where a thief's not really going to be looking for it, somewhere behind the dash maybe. I'm going to be showing you where I'm installing mine, as it's a sacrifice I make for you guys, but I'll probably move it a bit later on once I finish making this video. Okay, here we have our Hawk car alarm and immobiliser. This is the microprocessor bit, and then the wiring loom is just down loosely in here at the moment. So first of all I need to power the unit up. Let's have a look at this nice schematic here. So number 17 red goes to the car battery, and number 7, black, goes to the earth. So those two there, to the car battery and to earth. There are a few places you could get your permanent light from. You could get it from the back of the cigarette lighter, the back of the stereo, or just run a cable straight to the battery. It's up to you. For this connection, I'm going to be using some solder shrink. You could use a crimp connection or solder the joint, but I'm going to just use some solder shrink for this one. It's a bit more expensive, but it's very quick and easy. And same with the ground connection. You could either earth this on the chassis or just go straight back to the battery, which is what I'm doing. So I've connected the positive and negative using some solder shrink, so it's a nice strong connection. Now we need to test that the unit's got power. So how do we do that? Get this LED and plug it into the unit. Now take your control and lock it. We've got power. So when mounting the LED, you want to find somewhere that can be visible from both sides of the van. So if anyone's looking through the windows, they can see the LEDs flashing, and that might put them off breaking in. So here it looks like there was an aftermarket alarm installed in the past. So let's pop this out. Let's take that LED out and put our new one in. There we go. So you might need to drill a hole in one of these inserts if you haven't got one drilled already. So let's put that in. The old alarm's going off because I'm knocking it around. It must have a knock sensor in here. There we go. Our unit's got power. Our light's flashing away there. So now we need to have a look at getting the central locking working. So I'm going to take the door panel off. So according to this information that the manufacturer sent me, I've got the power lock is yellow and black and the power unlock is white and purple. I've got a white and purple here, but I haven't got a yellow and black. I've got an orange and black, so maybe it's that one. Before I go any further, I need to work out what central locking system I've got, whether it's a negative locking or positive locking. There's lots of different options, but I'm going to say that it's probably one of these two. It's going to be basic. So you've got to adjust these accordingly. You've either got to put the yellow and black to ground, or the yellow and black to positive, depending on what kind of system you've got. So I'm going to go get my meter out and just have a poke around and see if I can determine which system I've got. I think I've worked it out. This seems to be a positive lock-in. So we've got 12 volts down here that goes to the door mechanism, and if I short between the yellow and blue, if I give that 12 volt pulse, it locks it. And if I give the green and white the 12 volt pulse, so if I just poke that down in there, it unlocks the van. Right then, I've determined that it's definitely a positive locking system. So I need to connect pin 12, the yellow, and pin 15, yellow and black, to 12 volt positive. So these two here, I need to connect to my positive. So I'm going to splice them in here. So there we go, we've got 12 volts to the yellow and black. Got a nice strong connection there. I only ever use soldered connections or crimped connections, but soldered's much better. So now we're down here, I just need to connect up my white to my yellow and blue, and my white black to my green and white. So quite simply, I've got my white locking signal wire going to my yellow and blue, and that goes to the door locking mechanism. And I've got my white and black unlocking signal wire going to my green and whites, going to the door locking mechanism. Right, so next we want to connect up the hazard lights. So output 20 and 10 from the controller, and they're brown wires with 7.5 amp fuses. So here we go. I'm going to run one down one side of the van and one to the other side of the van. So I'm going to use some of my cable to extend those cables to the indicators. To make it nice and easy, I'm just going to tap into the indicator. I've got a black and a blue and red, so I'm guessing the blue and red is going to be my positive 12 volts. So I'm just going to get this and splice into the wire. Let's just make sure I am tapping into the 12 volt side. So looks good to me. I'm going to wrap my cable around there. Just get the solder. Just get some insulating tape. So I'm just feeding this wire through the bulkhead now. Connect this up inside here. Put a bit of heat shrink on there. Press these together. Bit of heat shrink on there. So I'm just taking the battery out so I can get at this indicator. Right, that's that side connected. I just need to connect it up to the controller. That's the indicators wired up, so let's just try that. Awesome. I'm now going to connect up my ignition live, so number 2 yellow, it's labelled up on here as well. So I'm going to get my ignition live from the back of the stereo. I'm now going to install my ultrasonic sensors. I've got one ultrasonic sensor up in this corner here, and I can move that and rotate it slightly to point it down, covering this side door and this living area here, just in case anyone tries to climb through to the front. Let's run the wires down this A pillar here. Just going to get the cover. And hide those away. Now you just need to plug in your ultrasonic sensors and then plug that module into the controller. So the only wire I need now is a Siren wire, and all the other wires can be wrapped up neatly, and this module can be installed behind the dash somewhere. So I'm actually going to install my Siren on this plastic plate here. I've checked the other side and it does just seem to be an insert, so I should be able to get some fixings in there, and then I'm not increasing the risk of rust. Alright, let's wang a couple of screws in here. It's only holding a lightweight Siren, so these will be fine. Lovely. So with the Siren we've got white to white and black to ground. So I've just run the wires through the bulkhead and I deal with them on the other side. Because this is a camper van and I don't want the Siren going off while I'm on a campsite, waking up all the other campers, I'm going to install a switch on the Siren's positive wire so I can disable the Siren but still have the alarm active. So it just mutes it basically, and I'll hide the switch somewhere. Put the fuse back in. If I switch this, stops the Siren working, and I just hide this somewhere. So that just leaves me to attach this alarm to the bracket, pretty self-explanatory, I think. I've installed this so it's pointing down so it doesn't collect water. So before I tuck all this away, I just need to link a couple of pins together to stop it auto rearming. At the moment, when you unlock it and leave it for 30 seconds, it automatically locks itself. I don't want it to do that, just in case I leave my keys in the van. So I emailed the company and asked them how to cancel the auto rearming, and they got back to me very quickly, and they said for me to link together pins 3 and 9 to stop it auto rearming. Right, that seems to have done the trick. It's unlocked and it's staying unlocked now. So that's all the elements of the alarm installed that I want to use. I'm not worried too much about the Immobiliser. So, lock, unlock. If I want to lock it and unlock it quietly, I can lock it by pushing that alarm with the cross. That locks it quietly, and to unlock it quietly, I push that one and that one. So if I lock the van while I'm in it, put my key in the ignition, as soon as I try and start it, that's it, the alarm's going off. Let's try and get in through the back door. You can adjust the sensitivity of these ultrasonic sensors as well on that module, so I might need to play around with that, but all in all it's a very good car alarm. So there we go, I've just tested the basic elements of this car alarm system. I'm really impressed with it. As I say, I had one before for around 6 months on my Suzuki Carry before I sold it, and it never caused me any issues really. Got the odd nuisance alarm every now and then, but that's expected of a £40 car alarm. It's got really good range for locking and unlocking. You know, I can stand quite a distance away from the van and still lock it and unlock it. As for customer service, I'd say that's pretty spot on as well. I sent them an email about the auto arming and they got back to me within an hour and 15, so if you have any problems you can email them. So there we go, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful and enjoyed watching it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys.